3 end time signs almost every Christian family is missing. Number 3 may already be inside your home. Sign 1, spiritual exhaustion. Daniel 7:25 describes a power that opposes God and seeks to wear out the saints of the Most High. That phrase, wear out, does not make me think of one sudden attack. It sounds more like a slow, constant draining of a person's strength. Sometimes exhaustion comes from working, raising children, financial pressure, illness, or lack of sleep. At other times, spiritual warfare may be also involved. Not every kind of exhaustion means that prophecy is being fulfilled, but exhaustion can deeply affect a person's spiritual life. Many families do not suddenly walk away from their faith. First, they slowly lose their prayer life. Husbands and wives become too tired to sit quietly before God together. Parents become too exhausted to read the Bible with their children. Everyone becomes so busy trying to survive daily life that they spend less and less time in God's presence. A tired believer is more likely to become discouraged and distracted. And a family that remains exhausted for too long may slowly lose its spiritual alertness without ever consciously deciding to do so. Sign 2, self becomes the center. 2 Timothy chapter 3 begins by saying that for men shall be lovers of their own selves. In the past, we simply called this pride. Today, it sometimes appears under language that sounds much more acceptable. Be true to yourself. Protect your peace. Put your feelings first. Proper rest is biblical, and healthy boundaries are important. But when those ideas are used to avoid truth, reject correction, refuse responsibility, or place our own feelings above God's will and the needs of our families, self-care can slowly turn into self-centeredness. This change also enters the home. Marriage stops asking, "How can I love you?" and begins asking, "Only, are you meeting my demands or needs?" Parents and children stop learning how to carry one another's burdens because everyone begins to insist that their own feelings most matter. Little by little, "Thy will be done" is replaced with "feelings must be satisfied first." And when self becomes centered, it becomes much harder to accept the truth and much harder to deny ourselves. Sign 3, the truth is slowly being dismissed. 2 Peter 3 verses 3 through 4 says that knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, "Where is the promise of his coming?" When I first read this passage, I assumed that this kind of scoffing would only come from people who completely rejected God. But what concerns me even more today is that voices dismissing holiness, repentance, judgment, and the return of the Lord can also be heard among people who claim to represent Christianity. When repentance is called too harsh, when judgment is called unloving, and when the return of the Lord is treated like an outdated subject, the truth is not always openly denied. Instead, it is slowly reinterpreted until it no longer convicts anyone. And eventually, that influence enters the home. When parents stop speaking to their children about repentance, holiness, and return of the Lord, the next generation may grow up with a faith that offers comfort but no truth, blessing but no obedience, belief but no watchfulness. When believers become exhausted, they have less strength to resist. When self becomes centered, they become less willing to accept the truth. And when the truth makes people uncomfortable, they may eventually begin to dismiss it. Jesus did not give us prophecy to make us panic. He gave it to us to help remain watchful. Luke 21:36 says, "Watch you therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." These signs remind us why prayer and spiritual watchfulness matter so much. If you know a Christian who is so exhausted that they feel ready to give up, share this video with them. If you truly want to know God more deeply, understand his word, learn to recognize his voice, and be ready for the Lord's return. Tap the link in my bio. Or if it's easier, send me a WhatsApp message using the number on the screen. Just write, I want to study God's words. I'll personally help you join tonight's Bible study.